Like a bird on the wing and let your love find. You two are living things and let your love shine. You know what I mean, that's the reason. There's a reason for the warm sweet nights, and there's a reason for the candle lights. Must be the season when those love lights shine all around us. So let that wonder take you into space and make you wonder. It's love and embrace, just feel the thunder as it warms your face. You can't hold back now. Just let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show. You know what I mean, it's a season. Just let your love fly like a bird on the wing, and let your love find. You two are living things, and let your love shine. You know what I mean, that's the reason. Just let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show. You know what I mean, it's a season. Just let your love fly like a bird on the wing, just let your love find. You two are living things, just let your love shine. You know what I mean, that's the reason. Yeah, that's the reason.
That's the reason.
Yeah, that's the reason. Yeah. All right, we come together.
You all know how we do this. We invite everyone to stand if you're capable or willing. I think you got the hang of it now. Here we go. Take a look at the person next to you. God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 In the name of love. We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
Now look at the
Person next to you.
Come on.
Say God loves you and I love you too.
Loves you and I love you too.
Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 In the name of love. We come together.
We come together.
We come together.
We come together.
We come together. In the name of love.
Every walk of life, where every creed and color in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. We come together. We come
Look
together.
at the person next to you. Say namaste, I bow to you.
Namaste, I bow to you.
Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
Come together.
We come together.
We come together.
We come together.
We come together.
In the name of love. We come together.
We come together.
We come together.
You guys are awesome.
Lot of love here today. This is wonderful. I'm Marjorie Ray. I'm a practitioner here, and it's my privilege to invite Jesse Keeler to come up with the light. This light represents the love that we are here in this community, and we are so lucky to be here all together. Yes, this is the right slide. Will you say with me our vision as we come together? We rise together as love in commitment to one another and ourselves. We rise together with each other about ourselves and each other. We rise together. Thank you. So let's just take a moment as we come together, and I recognize that there is just one source, one presence, one energy, one cause, in, through, and as absolutely everyone and everything. And that being so, I know that Carol Lotz is sourced and supported by that loving presence and allows that loving presence to speak through her, so that we all get the opportunity to experience what she has to say, knowing and trusting that everyone hears what they want to hear and feels what they want to feel, and that everyone who is on this platform is sourced and supported by this loving presence. And with all that being so, this I declare to be a magnificent service today, and with great gratitude I release it, saying, and so it is.
Welcome, everybody. That just shook it up. Ray, it's a barn raiser or barn burner today, whatever they call it. Hi, everybody. I'm Ray Bradford. I'm your host today on behalf of the entire host committee. Welcome. I want to thank you for being here in person, and for those of you who are joining us online, we thank you for joining us into this wonderful, dynamic, spirit-filled, and energetic place that we call Pacific Coast Center for Spiritual Living. And if you're new and stepped into this place because either a friend recommended you or held your hand as you walked in, or you heard that little voice that asked you to step in here because you're maybe looking for a home, a community, a family, of friends, we welcome you, because please know we are different because you are here, because we are all one. So, a couple of announcements. First, if you have a cell phone, please either turn it off or place it on vibrate. That way we can all enjoy the spirit and the message without disturbances. And if you are waiting for a call, an important call, just put it on vibrate, and then after service, share the good news with us, and we'll celebrate with you. It's we like to party here. Also, if you park behind someone in our parking lot, fill out a card. Please fill out a card. You probably already did, with your name and cell phone number, and that's very simple, so that if you are blocking somebody who's trying to get out, we have a way of contacting you. That way you can stay at service, there'll be food, there'll be beverages, there'll be fellowship, and you don't have to rush out, and people can leave whenever they want to. So thank you. And by the way, if you have filled one out, hold on to them. You can use them every Sunday that you're here, and they just recycle themselves. So, just on a little personal note, those of you who are Facebook friends of ours know that I am blessed with my mother and my father. They're pretty old and they're pretty awesome. Terry and I weren't here last week because we went home to help celebrate not only my niece's 30th birthday, quite a landmark, the decade point, which she's not quite wrapped her head around yet, but also my mother's 97th birthday. And she's just, and my dad is 96, so we are blessed, you know. It's just, they are amazing people, and though we were raised Roman Catholic, pretty strict there, they were always full and blessing us with unconditional love, and family and community was really paramount to anything else. And also, whenever we're home there, we go to what I call my second spiritual community, which, and by the way, we're in the western suburbs of Chicago, Unity of Naperville, which is a wonderful New Thought church, and we spend our time, we have almost closing the doors, we start talking to the ministers and other people. It really is like family again. But you know, it just reminded me that whether it's at my folks' home or another spiritual community in Chicago here, the truth is everywhere. The truth is that we are one. Or as Ernest Holmes said, the truth is true wherever you find it. Remember, sugar is sweet, whether you find it in a sugar bowl or a dustbin. Sugar is sugar, and love is love. So we are a radically different community, as I said, collectively revealing that love is the true nature of who we are, not something that we're trying to attain. We already have it. It makes that journey so much more attainable if we happen to veer off course, knowing that it's already in here. You know, it's not something outside. As a child, as a student of 12-step program and recovery, I know that it made my journey a lot greater to know that sobriety and peace and love was already attainable because it was already inside. So please know that. Though there are times in our lives, either through external challenges or internal conflicts, that we may forget. And so how do we remind ourselves of the truth, that we are one, that we are love? Well, you're in the right place, whether you're here in person or you're streaming live, because over the next approximately 45 minutes, our spiritual guides will teach you some things, will share some lessons, and will remind you of the truth that we are one, we are love, we are collectively unified power, love, and grace. So let me introduce you to some of these people. First of all, it's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today, because we've known actually in my Facebook memory page, she popped up today. 5 years ago, she was speaking at our other community, Namaste. She's been a metaphysical teacher for over 25 years, over a quarter century. She is also a palliative care chaplain for the Ventura County Medical Center and provides spiritual support to the entire hospital. So you know that somebody in that position is not only facing people at their most critical point, but also family members and care physicians. And they are blessed to have her there. But unless you've actually heard her, she's also an amazing singer. If you're familiar with the late Christine McVie of Fleetwood Mac and the power that she had and just the strength, that is her. And so I hope at some point, if not today, if some point in the future, you hear, because our wonderful, awesome guest speaker is Reverend Carol Lotz. Here. She rocks it, she rocks it. And our music team, which you have already heard, is Des Glover and David Anthony. Now let me introduce you to the rest of the volunteers and hold your applause to the end, because there's a lot. Our production team, which keeps the sound going and is streaming out into the world, is John Broderick and Matt Prophet. Our production coordinator for today is Dale Mall here. He's stepping in for Carol Ann Perini, who's in Arizona with her grandkids, just sharing some love. And let me introduce you to our practitioners. Some of you have already met. You met Marjorie Ray, who was up here before. Janice Guevara is the meditation and high watch practitioner who hosted the pre-service meditation if you were here. And by the way, if you ever do want to come here and just kind of ground yourself with meditation before service, get here like around 10:15, so you're here in time for it to start, and they meet in the back room there. But when you get here, just ask somebody, they'll know. And providing support, practitioner support, is Jesse Keeler. Representing our leadership team is the board chairperson, Debbie Ann Vokes, which you'll hear from her shortly. And you met our welcome team. You can't get past Terry and the hugs. He's Mr. Hugs. but everybody else is just wonderful. They are in the front. I won't name them. They switch all the time. Just give them some love on the way out. And coordinating, last but not least, coordinating the delightful spread that seems to magically appear on the tables, which it doesn't, takes a lot of work, and the cleanup afterwards, is Floranne Limpus and her team of volunteers. So let's thank everybody who steps up. So at this time, I'd like to welcome back Board Chairperson Debbie Ann Vokes to share in some announcements.
Thank you, Ray. What a professional, huh? Wow, amazing. Amazing. Before I share announcements, I'm going to ask you to read our collaboration vision so we can get anchored into that. If you'd read with me, please. Through mindful and respectful exploration, we are creating a healthier foundation that supports and engages a whole beloved community equipped to launch new strategies for a thriving spiritual center. Absolutely. Okay, let's share some announcements. First of all, setting the table for affirmative prayer. These are our Tuesday offerings from 6:30 to 8 p.m. We learn about how the spiritual tool of affirmative prayer can deepen the innate connection with the divine. So last Tuesday, we had Revs Bobby and Juanita who shared about digging deeper into prayer. This Tuesday is Reverend Sunshine Day. You don't want to miss that. She's going to talk about intention and feeling. And then on July 23rd, which is the following Tuesday, we are going to hear from Casey Howell, the mindfulness expert from Insight LA. And he's wonderful. I took a class earlier with him, and I highly recommend all these offerings in person or on Zoom on Tuesdays from 6:30 to 8 p.m. You can sign up on our website or also within the body of the newsletter. Care Circle Sundays are on the last Sunday of the month. This month, it's July 28th. This will happen in lieu of our usual service on Sundays, and we're going to be talking about the creative process. What are the elements of progress? What are they? Because, progress doesn't make perfect. No, we know that. We're learning all about that. So this is an opportunity to engage in dialogue, deepening your understanding of intentional creative prayer. So please join us on the last Sunday of the month. Okay, now I have a fun announcement. Join us for a free concert in the park. It's a Beatles tribute band outdoor concert. It's in Little Cottonwood Park, Thursday, August 1st from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Just pack a picnic for yourself. Don't forget your lawn chair. And a few of us are going to get there early and find a nice spot for everybody. And we can sit together and enjoy a fun night of music and friendship. So it's just an open invitation to everybody within the community and also who you want to invite. So join us for that. Okay, this is my favorite time because thank yous are all about gratitude. I am so deeply grateful for this community and everybody that shows up and supports each other with connection and love. My first thank you this week is to remember, I'm going to bring this up again because it's really important. Remember this jar, the Make a Difference jar? So this is about seeing something and making a difference. And it can be it's put on by our DEI committee. So that's Reverend Veronica and Reverend to be Jesse Keeler. It just rolls off the tongue. This Make a Difference jar can be how you're making a difference, or if you see someone making a difference within the community. So we had a winner for June, and so July is already heating up, as you can see. We have some notes in the jar already, but I want to share about our winner of June, and that is no other than Eileen C. Davis. So round of applause. Eileen made a difference in June, and she received a book from the committee. So you too can be a winner. You just have to put in, it can be about the earth, it can be about anything that's about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And go ahead, feel free. This jar sits at the entryway of the sanctuary, and I encourage everybody to make a difference. All right, and then I just want to say thank you to not only everyone here today, because like Ray said, we're different because you're here. We're better because you're here. So thank you, everybody, for showing up. I also want to thank, I just mentioned previously about our Tuesday offerings. So I had the pleasure of being here last Tuesday, and we had a really great group of people in attendance. And there was just so much love, connection, and support as we dig deeper into affirmative prayer. So again, thank you everybody that showed up on Tuesday, and thank you for being here today.
Right here, right now. With every breath I take, I'm letting go. Gonna let it fade away. Right here, right now. I'm getting out of my head and dropping into my heart. Right now. Right here, right now. With every breath I take, I'm letting go. Gonna let it fade away. Right here, right now. I'm getting out of my head and dropping into my heart. How my mind can turn and twist and spin, just begging for some peace. That's how I know it's time to go within. Be still and just breathe. Right here, right now. With every breath I take, I'm letting go. Gonna let it fade away. Right here, right now. Getting out of my head and dropping into my heart. With each breath, I'll go deeper in this space and ground myself from the peace within this place. I can feel the love, it's flowing all around me. Right here, right now. I can feel the love, it's flowing all around me. Right here, right now.
Oh my, yes. Feel the love around me, around us, right here, right now. Our topic this week is leaning into progress. Some of you may know that I'm a recovering perfectionist. And some of that training came when I was in a high school youth program at a Presbyterian church, and I was trying to be what they were saying I should be. And then towards the end of high school, I finally realized they were asking me to be what they thought I should be and I realized at the same time what they were asking me to be and do was virtually impossible. And I decided that was very hypocritical, and I turned my back on organized church. And I started drinking. In 1985, I got sober, and one of the books I read was The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. And I was at a ski club party over the 4th of July and telling somebody about my great new life that I was starting in this book. And he said, well, I don't know the book, but that sounds like the church I go to. He was an usher at Huntington Beach Church of Religious Science. A couple weeks later, I was there, and oh my goodness, I had found home. They were telling me I already was perfect. They had this lovely song they sang almost every Sunday. I love myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me. There's nothing to rearrange. I'm beautiful and capable of being the best me I can. And I love myself just the way that I am. Oh, I love myself just the way I am. They had me hooked. What I came to realize is that there's no goal to attain, but rather this is a philosophy that encourages us to evolve and grow. My favorite mantra now is progress, not perfection. And progress leads to progress. And I have Ernest Holmes in in the first section, on page 51. He says, one of the great difficulties in the new order of thought is that we are likely to indulge too much in theory and too little in practice. Practice can be meditation, prayer, coming to Sunday service, attending classes, volunteering. There's a myriad of ways to practice what we teach here. And early on in my journey, a minister told me, it just seems life goes better when I'm in a class. And I have found that that is true, whether I'm teaching a class or facilitating a class or attending a class. One of the more dramatic demonstrations I had of that when I was facilitating a 4-week workshop titled, You Have to Believe It to See It. And they were tasked with setting up an affirmation, and then they were tasked for, every time you say that affirmation, what but comes up? But I. And I have always believed that when you're facilitating the class, you do the same thing they are. And I was 70 at the time, and I had thought I was going to travel into the sunset with my clients, and I finally realized, no, I needed to find a way to sell the business and get somebody who would carry them on to the next yet to be. So I made an affirmation about finding someone to buy my business. And I found the worksheet that I used. My buts. But no one will take care of my clients the way I do. Partially true, because no one's me. Okay? And they're not going to want my clients because they're all small people and they don't earn as much money on them. So then the task was to diffuse, reframe, bless, and release. I am an excellent planner, and others are excellent planner in their own way. I am grateful for all the talents and tools that I have developed, and I release that I am better than other planners. My ego wanted to make me be better, best, that kind of stuff. And I had to let go and recognize we were all doing the best we could. And so my empowering belief was, I now know there are many in my field that care for their clients with love, wisdom, and integrity. And there are planners that want to buy my business and will take care of my clients. Now, when I was in the workshop on Tuesday, and one of the things Rev Bobby said was, when you change your thinking, your thoughts, your beliefs, that is cause, that's first cause for the next thing. I never thought of that as being first cause. What I did recognize is once I took that to my heart and felt it in my heart, I started telling more people I wanted to sell my business. I told the board that I was on at church. I told the wholesalers that would come and visit me. I told other people. Within 2 weeks, I had 3 viable options. And I chose the one that happened to be a Christian Scientist, which is not the same as what we believe, but it's in the same genre. And, you know, that just, it's one of those things that lets me know this really works. And it works in little ways and big ways. So, class, I think, is one of the most, it's where I get more dramatic progress, because we're actively involving and doing and actually practicing some of these new tools. So, in closing, I'm going to say practice leads to progress, and that includes all of that: meditation, affirmations, coming to Sunday service, volunteering, classes and workshops. And I'm also saying that attending workshops and classes just seems to deepen the practice and usually makes my life better. And so it is.
Boundless heart of God that holds us in its grace. It's the purest form of love, and of it we are made, and of it we are made. Oh, the precious light of life that shines in us each day. There is healing in each golden beam, and blessing in each ray, and blessing in each ray. Where we find our home, higher, higher. Oh, the joy within our souls that sings with heaven's voice. It rings throughout all creation's halls. Hear the world rejoice. Oh, hear the world rejoice. We are lifted up, we are We are beautiful. We are known. And it's in this truth that we find our home.
Thank you.
Wow. Good morning. Let's hear it for our music team. Are they amazing? To me, there's nothing like it when I walk in here and see Des smile right at me. I know all is well with the world. She has the best smile. She's so lovely and blessing us with your talents. And David, too. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah, I just love how you all show up. You know, we rise together. It's on that sign. Yeah, just amazing, amazing how you have the space and the light to shine on each other in such a powerful way. So I'm always blessed to be here. This is my spiritual home, besides the hospital. I didn't know the hospital was going to be my church, and it certainly is, one congregant at a time. So this idea of perfection, oh boy, am I not perfect. I don't pretend to be. I'm very transparent. I laugh at myself all the time. And I had a sister who was amazing, my older sister. She's just, to me, she was perfect. And when she was making her transition, being birthed into our real home, she said to me, she sat up the night before she died here, and she said, her eyes got big, and she said, I've had the perfect life. I've had the perfect kids. I've had the perfect husband. I've had the perfect family. And I was like, oh, wow. And then I thought, wow. I imagined myself doing that, and I'm like, yeah, no, I would be calling everybody out. Like, you were so challenging right before I leave. And what were you thinking? And, oh my gosh. And I thought, how beautiful to feel that way. That was her truth. And it certainly wasn't mine and will not be mine, because I value growth. I think growth happens through the hard stuff, and I think as a soul picking a role, I had the vision of I'm going to make some things kind of challenging, because I value growth and leaning into progress, not perfection. To me means valuing growth, the lessons. I appreciate this author. His name is Rob Schwartz, and he's actually a hypnotist, and he married a medium, and he has a lot of cool information about out there things. And what he said, yeah, you're with me, I can tell. And what he says is so powerful. He says, first of all, there's 3 things to know about life. 1 is that it goes really quickly. We're all here on borrowed time. 2, everything that we go through in this lifetime, in this linear time-space reality, is temporary. But here's the most important thing I'll say today. And they're not my words, they're his. What we learn from what we go through is what stays in our consciousness and our soul forever. What we learn by what we go through. Not what we go through, that's temporary. But what we learn from what we go through is permanently a part of who we forever will be. What an important reason for coming here. And what an amazing reason for choosing difficulty. I just appreciate life so much, and the perfection thing, yeah, no. To me, that's just like immeasurable expectation that you can never reach, so we will always be less than. So leaning into progress, what does that mean to me? Leaning into progress means we're always learning, we're always growing, we're always contributing to the permanent part of who we are, which is our soul. And so I think about perfection and progress, and I just want to be better. I somehow feel better about myself when I rise to do something I didn't know I could do, or I rise to be something more than I was yesterday. Or I'm more at peace, or I'm more comfortable, or whatever that is. And so I know you must have those too. But the more important question to me, and this is where I've been sitting with for my talk this morning, what we practice, we get good at. Practice makes progress. Practice makes perfect. Whatever your belief, whatever we believe, we get more of. So if there's that belief in perfection, there's that continuous unattainability. You will never be perfect because you can't reach it, right? But what we practice, we get good at. What have we practiced that hasn't served us very well that we're very good at? I've got a few thousand, but not enough time for that. But what we practice, we get good at, whether it's blame, shame, guilt, the what we call negative emotions. We've practiced those. How many are really good at some of those? Yeah, it's me. I work with so many people who think something's their fault that has nothing to do with them. They've practiced having that opening in themselves to be the one to blame, no matter what. Wow. Okay, that's one way. But how many of us get good at and practice things like courage? Or, I'm going to try something new. Or comfortability. Or forgiveness. Are we good at forgiveness? Are we good at, the things that make us and life better? What we practice, we get good at. And I'm not talking about like piano or, languages. I'm talking about the qualities of being that lead to good life, better life, greater life. Perfectionism isn't the way. Being aware of what you are practicing and really good at, whether that is something that you've wanted to practice, somebody else's voice in you that you have just taken on and keep practicing, or something that you choose. I haven't sat in spiritual counseling with anybody who has said, I want to get really, really good at hating myself more. So it's the awareness of what we're practicing. It's the awareness of the patterns of being that we have continuously grown in and grown for and through. And so we can stop right here in this moment and just kind of create a blank slate, like as if we were artists. We could just see a blank slate before us and go, what do I want to get better at? What do I want to let go of? What doesn't serve me? What is my new practice to create a transcendent idea of where I have been stuck? Where's that? And I think it's really important to do that right now, right here, right now, because life gets better when we do. And better isn't perfect. Better is progress towards maybe greater joy, or maybe greater freedom, or maybe bring the light and love where it isn't. And as a hospital chaplain, I'll tell you this, I know for sure. If people loved themselves more, the hospital would never be full. Never. We have created this high focus on where I'm wrong, where I'm not okay. And what I see every day is the body can hold so much of our own self-bashing until it can't hold it anymore. And life is so supportive that it will keep offering. And some of us need to practice being more open to things and ways that are different than what we're comfortable with. Because in that opening and in that stepping into that opening is the transcendence. That being closed-minded or thinking we have our answers or thinking we know everything will never allow the kind of freedom that I'm talking about. And that's progress. Do we have to do that perfectly? Do we have to be perfect humans? No. In my sewing room, I have a sign, only God is perfect. Your quilts don't have to be. And I look at that as I make mistakes and go, ha! That felt good. My line is so crooked that if anybody sees it, I'm not going to go, oh, please don't look at that. I'm going to go, yeah, that's life. That's life. It's not a straight line, it's a crooked line, right? So I was with the residents doing a reflection. The residents are the third-year medical students. They're doctors. They went through all the courses. They're on their third year of medical practice. And we're talking about how hard they are on themselves. They're just like beat up every day with what they have to know. And there is perfectionism and there's stress and they don't sleep and they're 12 hours on and they work days and days and switch to nights. And I bow to them every day and go, I just can't believe people like you exist. They're amazing. And so we were talking about grace. Just, can you give yourself some grace? Because they really don't. It's always like what I'm not doing, what I'm not learning, what I don't know yet. And then one of them said, she said, you know, grace is really wonderful and I really appreciate what you're saying. She said, and there's something about grace that's effortless. I said, yes. There's something about grace that is like a pardon. Like, yes. That's God's love. It's easy. It's given. It's just because of who we are. We have direct access to God's grace, which is effortless. And she said, and I would like to just share for me that sometimes I need to give myself credit too. And I'm like, yes, of course. She goes, credit that I just got up today and showed up. I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. And so what came to me after that is we are both human and divine. The human part of us needs to give ourselves credit because it's hard to be here. It's hard to be here sometimes. Life is beautiful too, but the progression of, ups and downs and, you know the whole thing, it doesn't always feel beautiful even though it is beautiful. We're growing, the growing pains, the progress, I never learned anything important through the easy, blissful times. On my wedding day, I didn't evolve. Happiness, joy, I love you so much, oh my God. Yeah, no growth there, just joy. Oh my God. It's when you're on your knees. I've really come to understand ordinary as extraordinary. The more bored I am, the happier I am. So boredom is wonderful. Everybody's sleeping in their beds, no calls of tragedy or devastation. It's just, there's so many more beautiful days than difficult days, but the difficult days progress us like nothing else. And maybe that's why we're here. Maybe being in heaven is kind of like my wedding day. It's like joy, happiness. You get to wear what you want. You get to think what you want. You get to be beautiful and loved and treasured and adored. And so maybe there's a purpose here, that our soul really appreciated all the joy and all the happiness and all the love and all the connections with your soul families and all that beautiful stuff. But this is the potential for progress from a soul level. And so what are we doing with that? What are we doing? What are we here to do? What are we here to give? So I wanted to close with 2 little stories and then a thought for today. I had a patient who was older, and I walked in to see him, and he was depressed. And he was just like slumped over and just like hard to engage. And so after a few minutes, I just said, I can feel the sadness. Can we give words to that? Can we talk to that? Can you share it with me? And after a while, he said to me, I didn't do enough with my life. I had so much potential, and I just didn't do it. And 2 hours later, he was birthed into the afterlife. And I thought, well, it was such a blessing for me to be with that gift and that wisdom. And so what would that mean for me? I don't know what it means for anybody else. And that's part of the problem, I think, in this world right now, especially, is we can believe and think and have our own experience in our own worlds. But what we cannot do is tell someone else what theirs should be. That's the problem. I would never stand up here and tell you who you should be or what you should do or what you should think. I just struggle through the trenches of my own life, and what I learn, I gladly give with love. But you get to decide. You get to practice and get good at self-loathing or being the giver of the world to other people. But I would just invite you and offer you to think about what that might be for you. What that might be for you. And that is the part that I didn't do enough. That's the human. It's the give yourself credit. Maybe he didn't give himself enough credit. Maybe he thought he had to be perfect, and he didn't reach perfection at the end of his life. I don't know. But it just was a catalyst to think deeper in me of what would that mean to me? What am I hoping to do with my life? And if it's fast, and if everything we go through is temporary, and the only important thing is what we learn from what we go through, because that is what is with us forever, that is progression. And I want to progress. I want to be better. I always want to wake up and be better than I was the day before, whatever that means to me. So working on ourselves, being aware and working on ourselves is so powerful. It's so important. We're so good at looking at others and working on them. You have no power there. Absolutely none. You have no power there. It's a waste of time. And then when we're in that place where we're going to open that door to be birthed into our real home, if this was our real home, we wouldn't have to leave here. When we're birthed into our real home, we won't have to wonder about all the missed opportunities to grow that we didn't take. So I'm going to close with a story about my granddaughter, because this is the divinity part. We got the human part, all kinds of potential. Think you're perfect. Go ahead. See where that gets you. Or not. And so my granddaughter was at Disneyland when she was little, and we were watching the parade, and she was into Elsa at the time, and the parade was coming, and then Elsa came and went on her float. She's a princess, for anyone who doesn't know that. And so my granddaughter almost flung herself into my arms with jubilation and said, Gigi, Elsa smiled for me. She smiled for me. And I had a tick to correct her grammar. Like I was going to say, no, honey, you mean she waved to you, not for you, to you. She waved to you. And I caught myself before I said anything, and I was just like, oh, I get it. She was the 3-year-old teacher in that moment, because who she was talking about is not Elsa, but the universal spirit of love called God is waving for us, not to us. And so when you have an all-loving God that is only pure love doesn't come down and mess with people. Pure love is just pure love as we find our way being messed up. And so in that moment, stunned moment of thank you, sweetheart. You are absolutely right. Elsa is waving for you. This whole parade is for you. What a beautiful thing to accept, and what a beautiful thing to practice. Because we can practice knowing that there isn't anything against us, only love for us. And so I know we are a bit probably unsettled because of what has been going on in the news and all of that stuff. And I don't want to say a lot about it, but what I do want to say about it is I just want to share a patient paragraph. I was with this incredible woman. She was Russian, and she said, I'm going to read it just if that's okay so I don't mess it up. Just in the spirit of all that's going on politically, please open your heart to receive this from the place it was given. I'm going to read this and then close. She said, now this is someone who's been through lots of difficulty. She had cancer at the time. She was Russian with a thick accent. She lived through a daughter who didn't survive. Her other daughter is in Crimea right now. And so setting the scene, difficulty beyond extreme difficulty. This is what she said to me one day. God is like the sun above, shines on everyone, good or bad. This is why I pray for Ukraine and Russia together. Innocent people are hurt in both places. We all belong to God before we come into a country. I'm going to read it again. Ooh. Right? God is like the sun above, shines on everyone, good or bad. This is why I pray for Ukraine and Russia both together. Innocent people are hurt in both places. We all belong to God before born into a country. So, I would like us all to close our eyes together and imagine the warmth of the sun beating your heart right now. That it is powerful and palpable, and just the warmth is love. And that loving warmth that is spirit, that is love, that is the universe's message to us here today. That the sun does shine on everyone. And to move out of the way. This is my prayer for me, and you join me if you like, but I'm moving out of the way of right and wrong, good and bad. And I am just holding the space for the light to heal and the light to penetrate anything that seems other than love. For the light to bring its power forth in such a way that through this event yesterday, that it is an opening for understanding, love, unity, and that we begin a new practice of something powerful and supportive to all, and that this is a catalyst for good, for change, for love. And I speak my words of love for anyone who has gotten hurt, and for the families and the ripple effect of all that pain and grief and suffering, but the sun is there too. and that love is there too, and that there's something about the urgency to know how precious life is and how we all need to feel safe. And that I believe that this is a moment to pivot into a greater sense of safety and a greater sense of knowing that we were all people before we came into a place to live here. That we were all part of God. And we all belong to God. And so my arms are around this entire community and beyond, knowing that together we can make the change. And when you have the consciousness that includes diversity, it is our responsibility to hold it for others until they can too. And so I hold us up in the awareness that love is the only thing that's real, and that fear doesn't exist in love. And love is the antidote and healer of anything that looks like fear. And so we know this together collectively now. We know this individually now, and we hold both sides, all sides, the world, the countries, every place where we can hold the light and we can know the sun is powerfully giving opportunities for greater love and progress into greater love. We just give thanks for the wisdom, and we give thanks for being able to remove ourselves from the rhetoric and the fear, and we lift above like a floating candle, above our TV sets, above the madness, above the chatter and the disturbing, fear-inducing stories. We are above the story, like a floating candle that sits above and holds the light. This is who we are. This is what we give. And this is what I know for sure. And so I release all of this into the majesty of the universe that accepts it, receives it, and transforms it into greater peace, greater trust, greater learning, and greater growth, so that we can say, I did so much with my life, and that God is for me, and this is all for me in the most beautiful ways. That me is anyone who wants to join me as all of us. And so I just let it go and I let it be, and so it is. Amen.
What a difference a day makes. 24 little hours. But the sun and the flowers, where I used to be rain. My yesterdays were blue, dear. Today I'm part of you, dear. My lonely nights see through, dear. Since you said you were mine. What a difference a day makes. There's a rainbow before me. Skies above can be stormy. Since that moment of bliss, that thrilling kiss, it's heaven when you find a romance on the menu. What a difference a day makes, and the difference is you. Difference a day makes. There's a rainbow before me. Skies above can be lonely. Since that moment of bliss, that thrilling kiss, it's heaven when you find romance on the menu. What a difference a day makes, and the difference is you.
Let us give it up one more time for our music team. I felt like just getting up and dancing at that point. But also, let us just thank Reverend Carol Lotz for her amazing talk today. I think for me, the one thing that I got so much out of it was just, I think we can relate to having that feeling of like, at whatever moment of our life that maybe we haven't done enough. Somebody, either the self-critic inside or thinking that somebody else is holding that in their consciousness for us. And I have found that there's no greater antiseptic for that than stepping into service, taking a class, stepping outside of myself. Service can be anything as big as running for office or just opening the door for anybody else. Because at that moment when you do service, you are stepping outside of yourself for somebody, for the world, and ultimately back for you. And so I just really thank you, Reverend Lotz, for your message, and I thank each and every one of you for being here, because through you I see myself, and together in community we are one and we are love, and that is so powerful. At this time I'd like to invite our ushers to join us in the front. Our ushers today are Diane, Florette, Genevieve, and Carrie. And by the way, in terms of being service, there are many simple and easy ways to be of service, and being an usher is one of them. Being part of the welcome team, helping do dishes in the kitchen, whatever floats your boat, whatever way you want to give. Let me tell you, as somebody 18 years ago who stepped into this community and somebody saw something in me and said, "Hey, would you like to staff the info table?" I was like, sure. 18 years later, here I am. A better person for it, because I have stepped into service. And you never know. It's not about what happens here doesn't stay here. It goes out into our lives, and it's just an amazing thing. So this is the time to share and give from our heart. Giving, tithing, and sharing from our heart keeps us connected to community, keeps us connected to each other, keeps us connected to our lives and ourselves. So if you value the messages that you've heard here, if you value the music, if you value this amazing space, reach down inside and find a way to give of your time, talent, or treasure to this community we call Pacific Coast Center for Spiritual Living. So right now, please join me in reading and speaking out loud this message of gratitude and of giving. We rise together as love for ourselves and our community. We rise as acts of service, generosity, and the expression of our unique talents. As a committed whole, we give this gift today. Now, as the ushers have already made their way through the room, they're very quick. For those of you in this room, but also those of you watching, streaming, there are many ways to give, and here on the screen you see several of them. You can use Venmo, you can text the amount to this number that is here, or you can go to our website, and at any time that you feel so compelled, you can give one time, or you can sign up to tithe. Myself, Carrie, and I have been monthly givers for many years, and I know that that's usually the easiest way to do it. So we invite you in there. Also, I'd like to invite our practitioners to stand, please. These practitioners are licensed practitioners in science of mind and religious science. They have been through many courses, and they are steeped in the practice of holding you in prayer for the truth of who you are at this moment. And so if you feel like you want to just sit with somebody and pray for yourself or for somebody in your life, see one of them, or just after service, come right over here to the corner. Prayer happens right over there. That's the easiest way. If you feel so compelled but feel that shy inner child holding you back, I know for me, whenever I feel that, that is a sign for me to step past it and into it before I get caught up in my head. When I get caught up in my head, I get stuck like cement in my feet. So if you feel like prayer now, please know that they are available for you, or you can just go on our website. It's very easy to find to send a prayer request. Go on our website, scroll all the way down under contact. You'll see a thing going that says request prayer or prayer request. Click it and there's a little form. It's all confidential. You can put your request there for yourself or somebody else. You can even request to have one of the practitioners call you. Or what I find valuable, the times that I've used it, is that I also request to have a prayer emailed back to me, because that way I can print it out and just keep it with me and read it. So it's a tremendously powerful tool of affirmative prayer. At this time, I'd like to invite Jesse back up to help take the candle out. As he does this, let's each one of us open up our hearts and our minds to the true spirit of love. And know that just as the candle was lit at the beginning of service and kept shining bright throughout this amazing day together in fellowship, as he takes the candle out, let's each one of us take that light of love and peace and fellowship and community out with us, through us, and out into the world, into our home, and let it light for the rest of the week until and beyond the next time we come together. And so at this point, to close out the service with our benediction, I'd like to invite our awesome and wonderful Reverend Veronica Silva.
Thank you, Reverend Ray. Serious, right? Some talent, skills right there. Yes, yes. Absolutely, absolutely. And once again, I just want to thank Reverend Carol. Amazing talk. Thank you so much. The woman who gave you the quote at the end there, she probably doesn't realize how many people she has touched with that quote now that you have shared it and it's going beyond. And so we never know how we're gonna affect people by how we be, what we say. So thank you so much. All right, Pacific Coast, are you ready to close us out? Yes. All right. Go. If you are able, please stand. And our benediction is an interactive benediction, if this is your first time here. And a benediction is nothing more than, and not nothing more, it's everything about a blessing. This is how we bless our service, and we bless as we walk out of this room. So that's what we're doing here today, and reminding us of the truth of who we are. Are you ready? Yeah. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Woo! All right, let's do it. All right. So there's something going on. Can you tell me a little bit about what it is? Something wonderful is happening through me right now. Yes, indeed. And what do we call that? It is this thing called life. Yes, it is. All right. So tell me, where is this thing called life? Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is all that I am. And life is all that we are. Yes. Life is all that we are. Yes, indeed. So what are we going to do with this thing called life? I accept it. I am it. And I share it with all. And woo, yes. Thank you. Now here's the trick, right? Because it's easy to share when everything's going well, right? Yes, it is. So here, we're going to share it how? Just the way it appears and just the way it appears not. Yes, indeed. Yes, yes. And one of the most powerful things that we could ever say to each other, to ourselves, and out into the universe are these exact words right here. Are you ready? Here we go. Thank you, life. Yes. Woo. Thank you.
I am alive with the spirit of love. I am alive with the spirit of love. I am alive with the spirit
alive, y'all, alive with the spirit of love. I am alive, y'all, alive with the spirit of love.
Alive with the spirit of love. I am alive, y'all, alive with the spirit of love.
You all have an amazing week. May your smiles be abundant.